Guys, and welcome to the month of Aquarius. So Aquarian energy is the 11th energy, so this is going to be very important what kind of goals we set this month. You can see different segments of your life. What is your journey? What is happening with your family? Where is your prosperity lying? What you should be doing to increase your chances of looking good, and what is, like, for example, residing in your love and marriage house. And if you guys want your private reading, and if you waited for a special with me, this is the time. So basically what's happening right now, it is upgraded. So the regular readings, which usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to turn around in a week. So you're going to get a price of a regular, you're going to get a rush reading. If you order a rush reading to get it within or under a week, you're going to get it within 3 days. And if you order an urgent reading, which is usually 3 days delivery, you're going to get it within 24 hours. So just book a regular reading or rush reading or urgent reading, and that's going to be upgraded. So to book the reading, check my website www.cattarot.ca. Without much further ado, let's jump into your monthly reading. Hi Aries, welcome to your monthlies with touch-up that we are going to have like mid-February. So let's see what I see. I was kind of like really spent a little bit of time analyzing and kind of like wanting to figure out where I want to start with this reading. So let me tell you what you have. You have as the underlying energy the High Priestess. You have this energy coming in, and you have this energy coming out. Very powerful. Then you have the Hermit reversed, 4 of Cups, 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands, Central, 9 of Swords, 5 of Cups, the Death, 7 of Cups, and the High Priestess again. Then we have here going with the flow, the Master, and morality. And we have here driving forces, giggle factor, and also Moon Goddess and Ghostlands, which kind of like is very interesting given that just in a few days we are going to go into this lunar eclipse. The High Priestess is linked with the moon. So is the Moon Goddess, so are the Ghostlands. So it is like the energy of seeking something that is under the surface, not to mention, look what we have, the eclipse of the moon over here in the Master, which is the card very unique to this deck as it doesn't exist in the other decks. So I was like literally looking at that and like I'm trying to make sense out of it because, well, you have like the cups, right? Look at that here. But then it was like feeling initially all over the place, and then it just like hit me. Let's kind of like analyze this. Look at this. Let's just add the majors only here. 9 and 13, 22. Let's add these guys over here. 4 and 7, 11. 9, like add to any number, it's going to come to the same, right? Numerological feeling. And then 4 and 5 is 9 and 2, 11. You guys are you're like fine-tuning vibrations. So instead of going in all this like really minuscule details, which kind of like this made like very confusing, it is kind of like relatively simple conclusion over here. So it looks like you're coming from some kind of period where something had to be dealt with, something deep inside. Maybe you felt lonely, maybe you felt isolated, maybe you felt certain things were like just not something you want or wish, and you wanted to continue but you couldn't. or something came to an end. There was this kind of like feeling of turning inside and spending some time listening to intuition. You know, like when you want to find the answers and you don't have all the facts, you don't know everything, and then just like you go zen and then you meditate, and when the stress kind of like vanishes from basically our aura, we are actually starting to feel those answers, because the high priestess is suggesting that you're actually getting into that, let's say, psychic or a meditative stage where you're really able to kind of like actually see things differently. And given the fact that you guys are like go go go, like you have like this enormous amount of energy, you're pulling away from your own energy right now. You're actually going in a completely different realms. This is going to be a month where the kitty will sleep and take rest. Whether you went through a whole bunch of things and just like had some kind of like ending, or you're going through some kind of transformation, figuring out that maybe certain things that you have been doing just simply didn't pan out. Like sometimes like we do things that we really believe, like maybe parents tell us, maybe, you know, colleagues tell us, maybe society tells us, like you have to do it this way, or let's say education, blah blah. And then we do that, and we are never hitting that spot where we are supposed to hit, and then we're trying harder and jump higher. And like you're actually in one of those stages, kind of like wondering, why are you listening to everybody else? Everybody's coming at you from all the sides. You see, Nine of Swords is a card of enhanced, let's say, very, very high vibration, not low, high. It's the card of anxiety. Anxiety is extremely high vibration that is not really cultured. This is why it's the sword card, right? It is like sort of like figuring things out. Like looks like you're out of the cycle of some kind, like all over the place. They're like nines, right? And you kind of like are trying to leave certain things behind you. And simply you're listening to your own instincts. You're listening to your own heart. It is kind of like making you a little bit, like it is making you nervous, because it's not something that you normally or regularly would be doing, right? But check this out. This is like what is really awesome about that. You are going from, what the heck do I really want? Do I want any of it that has been offered so far? What did that bring me to? It did bring me to some kind of like losses. And maybe I have been looking completely all the time in the wrong spot, right? Because these two cups are again making 9. And then, of course, I told you 9 is like not changing, so this is going to stay 7 as the third cup. So 9, 7, 16, and 1 and 6 is 7. This is saying that you guys need to reopen your choices. Did you notice, like I'm in the theme? Look at that. Sleep, sleep, sleep. So there are like 2 ways to interpret that. One, maybe you feel that you're a little bit like asleep on the switch. Maybe you feel that you just like cannot handle anything. Everybody's going like so fast, and like you're wondering like, what is like me, the Aries? Like, what do you mean like I cannot do it? And it's getting to the point of you're actually getting like a little bit really upset about yourself, with yourself, because something that has to be done, it's kind of like done in a matter that you just don't want to do it anymore. Given these cards here that we got, is it's kind of getting clear where you're going to emerge from there, because the entire cycle of this period, of this lunar period, where we are going to deal with Aquarian energy and maybe a tidbit of Pisces energy just before your birthday. And of course, this is the end of your cycle, which shows over here preparation for your own birthdays. And right now, just go with the flow. sail through it, open yourself to possibilities. It's the end of one cycle, you're entering new one, and this one is going to actually be completely different. Sorry guys. You actually really are now realizing that maybe you have tried different things. Maybe you have tried them, like to do them really kind of like in the right way, because morality is the card that is like a little bit rigid, but it's also the card that is kind of minimizing things that are not working out anymore. And you're kind of like implementing completely different sets of skills. Instead of like going through things that are very logical, that are very organized, you're just like going all kind of like, let's go all up in the air. Because check this out, you have like 10, you have 10, you have 9, and so something is shifting like from 9 to 10 to the next phase, and then again you have the ace and the master. So the shift is really happening here. And plus you have the death card, and death card upright is actually not a bad card, but it's like absolutely telling you that this is just not a new chapter in a book. It is a new book. Like you have finished something, you have finished the grade 2, now you have to go in a grade 3, something else has to happen. So it tells me that you have been actually working really hard on something, but also run into issues which kind of like are normal when you kind of have to go on a really higher level, which you are. Because these two cards here are extremely enticing, driving forces, just like with going with the flow. I think in the final stages of reaching or going towards some kind of mastery, it has been a long road. There is like still a target that you don't know where exactly it lands, right? But like you're finding like newfound freedom, because look at in this card, right? Like this Ace of Cups in this deck is basically called going with the flow for a reason, because it's saying that sometimes you just have to relax, because if you resist this water, you're going to dunk. You will maybe, you know, get the water in your eyes and your nose, and if you try to swim upstream, it's going to be really hard. Sometimes it is the best to just like observe, and you have to kind of also observe yourself from inside and kind of like seeing in which possible directions we can go. The Master card is a really good one. It's not so much the apprentice mastery, even though I actually do see that. It is like really working on something that is going to differentiate you. But given that this master is coming together with the high priestesses, I really think you guys will be coming very you're going to be becoming very spiritual and very sensitive. You're going to start, by the end of this period, honestly, it's going to be much different. You're kind of like leaving everything behind that appeared to be false, that appeared not to really fit how you wanted to see things. For example, let's say you wanted to be loved a certain way, and you always kind of like settled for how this is being done. Of course, this is kind of silly, because you meet two different people, are kind of like meet to create a new kind of energy in between the two, right? But it almost looks like you really wanted to go out of your way to kind of like serve, and it kind of like really didn't come back. And or you felt you were not yourself, and then the energy coming back was reflecting that, and then maybe you were a little bit rigid about the entire situation. Things are really changing right now, and changing to the point that as I said, like initially when I was looking in this reading, I was like shaking my head and I was saying like, what's going on here? So much turmoil if you really look these cards only on the surface. But if you really start looking closely into them and kind of like seeing what the heck is really going on, this is actually really good. You are moving from your fire to your water. You're actually developing your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is going to kind of like create this like new energy. And then having this card, giggle factor. After you let it go, any control, guys. Any one of you that still have controlling issues, we say to ourselves, oh, I have to do it, my life is in jeopardy if I don't do this, blah blah blah. Right, this is not what I mean. I'm not saying just like drop your bills, cut your job out. I'm just saying, just try to go 1 week with, yeah, everything is super, everything is great, kind of like, you know, I'm not saying being a yes man, but just like try to feed that positive well inside. Like, find a joy in everything. Like, if somebody says something ridiculous, you laugh at it. You don't have to laugh in their face. Like, you can just go to the bathroom and laugh about it, giggle. You are actually going to feed yourself with this newfound innocence, because the high priestess is definitely asking you to kind of like put that stuff inside. Like, the high priestess is like where you are getting to know you are kind of like really trying to figure out your own inner knowledge. Because when the moon goddess is talking about, it's saying the light is in the darkness is continually being reborn and rejuvenate your life, right? Because like we are so connected to the moon and moon phases, and I think this coming out with the high priestess, which is also this is a crescent moon high priestess, which we kind of have it here, and we have the full moon here and this like super blood blue full moon. That this is kind of interesting. It's almost going entire kind of like phase over here, because during the crescent moon we are kind of like setting the seeds, we are kind of like building our prospects, and during the full moon we are kind of like reaching the point and releasing. So it's like breathing in and out, in and out. Only thing is, like, you guys are going through lots of spiritual breathing over here, lots of inner get to know yourself process over here. I think you're going to really emerge in a completely new way out of this entire period, where things are going to be so dramatically transformed. Like, if you just mark down, like when you're like listening to this, oh, like, you know, I feel this, and most likely you're feeling lonely, you're feeling overburdened, overworked, you're feeling that you're hitting the wall, things are coming at you from all the sides, the bills, the people, like, I mean, musical wishes from everybody, and you feel like, I don't know, I just like need to relax, I just like need to relax, everybody leave me alone, and then when you relax, all this thought starts to come toward you, and like, right? Like, just like, when is this going to stop? It will. Just go with the flow. Instead of like allowing your mind to take over, just relax. Fill the bathtub full of water and just like think only where you are. Think about water splashing, or think about just like the sound that is really immediate and that is like really around you. As I said, feed your well of happiness with giggle. This is definitely working on energizing your heart chakra. You guys are going to become the master of yourself. I think this is like a spectacular reading. Just trying to find out here it is. I want to see what is the ghost lens. What is this talking about? Because it's simply absolutely fantastic card that has like all these signs and sort of like time over here. So let's see what this is talking about. Okay. It says, you can learn from the past and imagine a beautiful future, but you must live in the here and now. Interesting. Whenever you set your sights too far ahead, you run the risk of losing your footing, for rarely do the present and future match up exactly on the enhanced map. That is your life story. The future has no substance right now. It's a place that has no grounding as of yet. You can't live there, yet you can take measured steps toward a goal or dream. These steps are important now. The same goes for nostalgia. You can look into the past wistfully and remember beautiful moments or revisit lessons learned. However, you can't live there, nor can you go back and change what was. Yesterday is gone forever. Live fully in the present. The now, as I was saying, is the most powerful place to put your attention. Its magic reaches out in every direction, further than the heart and soul can see. So guys, being in the now and shifting to this new position with going with the flow, because the 17 is the star, it's the healing card. You guys are like really getting out of something that you're passing with flying colors. You guys are really getting into like this, I don't know if you can see it here, it's purple and it's green, because there is like this chakra opening, this light. You will be able to lead, you'll be able to master yourself, meaning you'll be reacting in a completely different way, and all of a sudden life is going to be fun. You're going to be in a completely different stage. So if you kind of like continue through your little mini diary, you will see that maybe from this kind of inventory that you take in the beginning, you're going to end up in a completely different phase by the time we are like actually hitting the end of February. So my dear Aries, hopefully you enjoyed your reading. Thank you very much for being up to here with me. And to get your private reading, please contact me via my website www.cattarot.ca. And until the next time, love you.